Hi, welcome to Allergy Dragon's Lair. My name's Martha Morgan. I'm your host. I happen to be a specialty diet and allergy chef and someone that lives with a couple of food allergies and celiac disease. And my claim to fame is raising a child with over 30 food allergies and celiac disease. It's been a while. Haven't talked to y'all in a bit. And so on this episode of Allergy Dragon's Lair, it happens to be a celiac sister episode. And I'm joined here with my lovely sister, Cindy. But before we jump into this episode, a quick disclaimer. The views expressed here on our show are our personal opinions and our guest life's experiences. We are not healthcare providers or doctors. Please seek advice from your healthcare professional for any diagnoses or changes to your healthcare plan. So now we get to have fun. So in this episode, Cindy's going to be joining me here. She is my literal celiac sister for any of those of you that do not know. She's a CFO of Allergy Dragon, contributing to content creator for Cindy's Corner, which is part of Allergy Dragon. So hi.
Hi, good to be here.
We are waiting for the snow apocalypse to arrive as we are recording this episode, just to give people a time frame of when we're recording this. Because this is going to be our first episode for this season. I was out last year, did not do any in 2025. So for my listeners, I apologize. Life happens, and that's what we're kind of going to go over. So Happy New Year, Cindy.
Happy New Year.
So, what was your word for 2025?
Challenging. Challenge.
Challenging. My word for 2025 was wow. I mean, it had really good parts and it had some really bad parts. So just wow. Like you just get to the point you just have, and for me and for anybody listening, and people that know me and people that have followed for a while, you know that for me to not come up with a word is pretty bad. So wow. And challenging. I want to
I
know what happened in 2025 that was so challenging.
what was so challenging about 2020?
Besides everything.
Well, actually, it challenging. That's what came to mind. What would I describe? If I had to describe my 2025 in one word, what would I use? And for me, it was challenging. Things didn't go quite as planned or what expectations were, I guess. I didn't even get to contribute much in the way to Allergy Dragon as I think we had thought I would do. But it was challenging on both sides of the fence for us. I think for me, it was all of a sudden I was turned 62 in 2025, and that meant applying for Social Security. Wow, how did I get here? When did this
Hmm.
happen? And not that was the difficult, but there's a lot of things that come as you age and you begin to think about those things. And then I also got hit with my husband encouraged me to get another hearing test. Okay, he wasn't encouraging me, he was insisting.
He just told you you got to get it
You
done.
got to do it. You got to do it. And I learned a lot from that. But it's kind of like when I got my first cane at a very early age and going, now I feel old.
Hmm.
And okay, now I have hearing issues. And it's not, I'm not saying that's a sign of old ageism because there are people younger than me that have hearing aids. So
Right.
don't come at me. I'm just saying it just made me feel like, oh, but I learned a lot in that because I don't think we talk about enough. Because when I was talking to the people that did the test, I had to go one place for a test, and you have the test there, and and she said, I'm not saying you have to rush out and get hearing aids. She says, but you would benefit from them. And what I learned is that when you start losing word recognition, is when you can't get that back because you
Hmm.
can't recognize that word ever again going forward. So I had 93, I think I was at 93% in one ear for word recognition and 100% in the other. The left one that I thought was my stronger ear is actually my weakest ear. I
Hmm.
thought was my right. So then I had to go to an audiologist because they're the ones that are going to talk to you about hearing aids and what's
Hmm.
available. Luckily, with our brother being in the hearing loss society, I could also kind of get information from him and have paid attention to what he
Hmm.
has done So I had a lot of information, was very knowledgeable when I went there, but then I even learned more. And I didn't realize how much background noise I had even not hearing. Like
Yeah, you just
when
didn't realize how much you were really affected to it until you got the hearing aids and you were like,
Yeah,
whoa.
so I'm sitting in there and they put the hearing aids and they're so, it's so much far advanced and each every 5 years it gets more and more advanced. And when she put it in, and I went to unzip my purse, I could actually hear the zipper. I wasn't hearing the zipper before.
Hmm,
I couldn't hear
that's
that
interesting.
sound. But then the
Hmm.
next morning when I put them on, I was overloaded because then I could hear everything. And it's almost like it felt like nails on a chalkboard because you could everything that has those that you don't pay attention those sounds like when you're shuffling across the floor in the morning, getting awake and going down the stairs and the creak of the banister. Those things are usually just a background noise that you don't pay attention to, but now it's amplified because of your hearing aids. And at first, kind of was like, okay, this is annoying,
Yeah, I'm
but
overstimulated now. Yeah,
yes, I
yeah.
felt like somebody that was overstimulated, but
Hmm.
kept on wearing them because I you have to, and it finally goes to it becomes background noise that you don't pay attention to finally to get over that. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah.
And getting over cancer and all that other stuff and just having to deal with a lot of challenges and aging. I mean, aging in itself, you have celiac disease, you have autoimmune diseases like I do, and life just happens. I'm turning 50, which is bugging me, people. So 2026, and it's not bugging me for the reasons I'm saying that I feel old. One of my friends who passed away, actually, she actually was one of my bosses, but she passed away a few years ago and has one of the autoimmune diseases I have. And I remember when she turned 50, and I was much younger then when I turned, and I remember her telling me that I have more years behind me than I do in front of me. And that really resonated with me, even though I was much younger then. And yeah, 20s, 30s, 40s didn't bug me. So not to get all dreary and depressing mode. We had a lot of good things that happened in 2025, or at least I did. You got your hearing aids, which sounds like a very positive thing that has happened to you. Any other positive things that have happened to you? And I'll go into my positivity things.
The best thing I think, one of the positive things was all the fun trips that I did have this year. And the one that was really fun and really enjoyable is when I snuck down to Louisville, Kentucky without the knowledge of my brother knowing to
Hmm.
surprise him for his 60th birthday. And with the help of Chef Marty, we were able to go shopping and get an amazing meal together that was allergy friendly and everything.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. That was probably one of my favorite trips. And I took about 6 trips this year.
Mm.
So that was my favorite one.
Yeah, that was really a fun time when you got to come down here, and our brother had no clue that she was coming down, by the way. So it was very fun because it was his 65th birthday, correct?
Yeah, 65th.
It was fun. It was a fun event. He's 16 years older than me, so he is our eldest brother, only brother, by the way. He's surrounded by three sisters. Poor guy. Um, or lucky. I don't know. You could
Uh,
spin it either way. I'm just
yeah.
saying. But yeah, it was a fun time and I got to cook all that stuff. And you got to come visit and see me at the markets that I was doing, at least one of them, the Rainbow
Mhm.
Blossom Market, and you got to get some stuff from Annie Mae and the Springhurst Bakery and different things like that that you got. And so segueing into that, 2025 had really good things. I loved the markets I did. It was really fun. It was really fun to connect with everybody. The downside of the markets was the fact that it was so physically demanding. I was doing a Saturday and Sunday and market, plus I work a part-time job, plus trying to put out podcast and things like that. And I honestly couldn't do a podcast episode. But a positive was getting to meet everybody who came to the markets, getting in feedback on anything that I made, whether it was good or bad. And then, I had really great classes. Just really started with the sourdough starter and all kinds of things. So it was really fun. It was a really fun year in those aspects for me. It was also really tiring. I broke my kneecap I ended up in the hospital for a few days with my pancreatitis. So those are the negatives and the positives. And so with that being said, I'm having to make changes for 2026. But then I also have some really cool things happening in 2026. Oh, the other thing that happened in 2025, which is getting ready to happen again in the 28th of February, is the Gravy Cup. And I actually like won last year. I won third place. So the Gravy Cup is really cool. And there'll be an episode coming out about the Gravy Cup. So definitely check that out. So if you're local in Louisville, it's coming up again on February 28th. So I have to like go defend my title, obviously. I'm going to be obviously making a new podcast. Hello, first episode. Whoop whoop, and really expanding the podcast to a platform that I feel like it really needs to be. I met so many awesome people with the markets that I really want people to hear about. So they're going to be on the podcast too coming up. So I'm super excited to give this platform to help showcase a lot of amazing people that I have met and are part of my life. And, maybe they can be part of your life too. And I think that that's what this podcast kind of should, it wants to highlight that everybody's different, but at the same time, we're the same and we can be a community together. So I'm excited about doing that and doing more creative stuff. My cooking classes, I'm changing that up too. They're going to be more positioned online. So there'll be more coming for that this year later on. I'll announce more of that. And I will not be doing markets this year. Just physically not good to me or sustainable. My body was breaking down, and because I say I'm going to do markets every single weekend like I was going to, I'm going to go as much as I can. I missed three of them total. With everything happening, I went even with a broken knee, okay? And like obviously when it first happened, I canceled that one. And then when I was in the hospital for a week, I canceled that weekend. And then the weekend following was the last weekend for the Saturday market, and I was there, and we did our till pumpkin thing that we do every year, or it's now become a tradition. I'm still going to do those things. I'm still going to be active in the community. I'm still going to do my advocacy. It's just we're changing it up a little bit. I changed it last year. I can change it again this year, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot of what I can't do.
Hey, Marty, don't you have in April the library? Is it the Louisville Library that you have an event?
Yeah, so it's lifelong learners, and it's with the Northeastern branch here in Louisville, Kentucky. They just started this Yes Chef program, and you have a chef in residency for the whole entire month. And I was lucky enough to be one of the first six. So April, yeah, April is my month to like rock the Yes Chef. I'm excited because it's like I have to work like 40 hours total, but like it's like open kitchen hours so people can come in and like see me during that time frame and have little different things. And then like I have to do three programs that they'll be talking about. Even though I'm doing stuff every time I'm going to be in the kitchen, there's three programs that I'm actually they're really like focusing on that I'll have like official kind of class hours and we're making specific items. And you can check that out at louisvillelibrary.com. Of course, I'll have everything linked down below for all the cool stuff I'm doing. But yeah, I'm super excited because I love working with the library. I've done the How To Festival for many years, like 4 years. I'm going to be having episodes about the chefs. I'm trying to get every single chef that's going to be on or at the library to be on the podcast because I like to just have food conversations with people because I'm a chef, like food kind of goes hand in hand.
That's really
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm obviously going to be teaching stuff about food allergies, but not more than that. And I think one thing I really want to like say to people is like, my taglines have everyone deserves delicious food, right?
Right.
But I've had conversations with people to be onto the podcast, and some of them are like, "What? I saw your podcast. What are we going to talk about?" And I'd be like, "Food," because it's still food. Allergy-free food is still food. So it has a negative connotation behind it. Negative people have negative thoughts when they hear free from and things like that, or it's only for people that eat gluten. No. And I was thinking about that because we're in the snow apocalypse time frame. We're waiting for everything to happen. So we went to the grocery store yesterday, and guess what was not picked over? The gluten-free stuff. And I had plenty of vegan cheese. Maybe not the vegan cheese I wanted, brand, but I had plenty of vegan cheese, and
Yeah.
I had plenty of gluten-free stuff.
Yeah.
So It's not gotten to the point of it was at COVID where people were buying the crappy food or the gluten-free food because that was all that was left. They were nice enough to leave that. So I'm looking at it as a positive. They were nice enough to leave that for us that need it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the option if not, right? But anyway, yeah, it's just the whole thing I want to strive from everything I do and is to remove that negative connotation that it's just bad.
I make these wonderful. I took a recipe that I had and make gluten free and dairy free because now I have to make it dairy free for my husband as South Gal. I never tell people. I just say, "Oh, I'll make my disgustingly rich brownies," and I bring them, and they're just, "Oh, they're so good and so good." And oh, well, they're gluten free and dairy free,
Right.
and I was like, "What? These are so good!" And so surprised and so shocked. And it's
Mhm.
all about getting that. People will immediately, if you say it's one thing and you set it there, and people will not try it because you
Mhm.
either said dairy free, vegan, or gluten free, and it's just, I'm not going to taste it. And it's just like, why not? And
Exactly, exactly. We experienced that at the Gravy Cup last year. So because I always list all of my ingredients and everything, and I actually entered all three. They have traditional, non-traditional, and vegan/vegetarian. But of course, everything I cook is vegan and top nine free and gluten free. And I had all the ingredients, so I wasn't lying to anybody, but I called it dragon gravy, dragon sausage gravy, which was, and I had the ingredients listed, and people weren't paying attention to the signs because they don't have to, and they were just picking up the traditional. And I was like, "Oh, well, I have this one and this one," and he goes, "Oh no, I don't do any of that vegan crap." And I'm saying he, but it was several people, sorry. So there'd be several people going, "Well, I don't do any of that vegan crap," or saying something negative about vegan or vegetarian. And I go, "Well, did you eat that or they taste it?" And I'm like, "What'd you think?" And they'd be like, "Oh, it's good." And I'll be like, it's vegan. Because I did have gluten free and I had everything labeled because the people like us are going to look. But the other people, I wasn't screaming it anymore. I have learned that you just can't scream it
no,
because people don't, they immediately negative. So I have it listed quietly and most people can kind of figure out Allergy Dragon. Yeah, yeah, there's something to that allergy thing, I think, maybe. But sometimes people hear allergy dragon and they think seasonal. So I find that interesting. Or that I'm going to cure your allergy. No, chef, I cook food.
yeah, same, same.
And yes, I am sitting here in my robe. I'm that cold. Okay.
You're still
Sorry, go ahead.
supporting Dare to Care, correct?
Oh, yes, I am. I am still doing dinner care. I haven't been able to go last year. That was another thing. I didn't get to go to be in the kitchen and actually work occasionally like I did the year previously. But I did still do my cooking class, which is still scheduled for May. Every May I do that. That's the Celiac Awareness Month and that is Allergy Awareness Month. And, you know, that's what I do. I teach and we go in and we teach and it's with 7 counties and which is like for adult learners. So people with different learning limitations or living with like, people that are on autism spectrum, et cetera, whatever challenges they may have as an adult. And it's one of my favorite classes to do because a lot of times you have the same people, sometimes you don't. And the people that I work with are amazing there at Dare to Care, plus the people that help with 7 counties that come in and it's just always fun because they're always really happy to see me and they're always really happy to learn. And it's really one of my favorite class. I love all my classes, don't get me wrong, but this class is like especially tucked in my heart. It's like I have to do this class and I'm always so excited to do it. And I always feel so completely drained afterwards because I'm so excited to do the class. And I actually, funny enough, connected with the person that was doing these classes at the first Gravy Cup I ever did. I think being in the community is the most important thing for Allergy Dragon. Yes, we need to be wrapping this up. I was happy to have this conversation with you, Cindy, and I hope that we get to have many more of them this year.
That would be fun. I'd like to do some more as well.
Mhm.
It'd be fun.
Cool beans. Cool beans. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. But before we wrap up, I generally ask the same question for everybody, and I think that which is there anything you want to go over or an ending thought? So I'm going to leave an ending thought. What would you like to leave behind, Cindy? Or would you like me to go first?
You can go.
My ending thought is no matter how bad things are around us or things that are negative that are affecting us, we are in charge of our feelings. And if you need to take time and decompress and feel your feelings, you have every right to and do so. But at the same time, just remember you're loved, you're connected, and you can be the change that you want to see in the world, no matter how small it is.
Very good sentiment. Very good
Thank you.
sentiment. I like that. I will leave you with, I think in the year of 2026, I think you need to remember kindness. I think kindness goes a long way. And you never know what somebody else is going through. And sometimes to take a step back, not only be kind to yourself, but kind to others as well.
Good sentiment. Okay, guys, thanks so much for taking the time to watch Allergy Dragon or listen to Allergy Dragon Light Layers podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. We'll have links down below to obviously, check everything out from Allergy Dragon's website and all the cool things going around here in Louisville, Kentucky if you happen to be local. And we will talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.